Have you ever wondered if growing older means giving up on some of life's most intimate joys? Does society tell you that as you age, your desires, passions, and connections should gradually fade away? Today, I invite you to explore a truth that society frequently ignores: the evolution of intimacy, connection, and desire as we age. This video isn't just about breaking the silence. It's about rediscovering the beauty and richness that come with living life to the fullest, regardless of your age. By the end of this video, you'll gain profound insights into how intimacy changes over time into something more meaningful and fulfilling. The hidden truths about desire in later life that society frequently overlooks is a tale of bravery and self-discovery that will motivate you to embrace your own journey. We will discover how life continues to bring joy, passion, and connection, even in ways you might not have thought possible, through the amazing story of Donna Clara, a woman who defies all preconceived notions about aging. Her lessons could alter your perspective on your body, your relationships, and yourself. Stay tuned until the very end to discover insights that could change your perspective on aging. I promise you won't want to miss what's coming up next. So let's get started. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I strongly advise you to do so and receive notifications. Bell, to stay up to date on all of our most recent content. I would love to hear your thoughts on today's topic. If you find the content interesting, please leave a comment below. If not, leave a 0. Your input is very important to me because it helps me make better videos that suit your interests. Now let's get started. Today I invite you to confront a truth that we rarely explore: its persistence, its evolution, and its profound significance as we age. Too often society avoids this subject, choosing to depict aging as a slow fading. We talk quietly about the body's changes, but we hardly ever recognize that intimacy, connection, and desire are not gone by the time they do not fade. Instead, they deepen, change, and unveil new facets of the human experience. Allow me to introduce you to this uncharted territory by telling you the tale of an extraordinary woman. Donna Clara is 85 years old, but her wisdom, vitality, and unapologetic authenticity define her more than her age. This is not just a story. It is a reflection of the truths we frequently overlook about acceptance of oneself, self-love, and the enduring power of connection. Consider. When I first meet Donna Clara, her presence is like stepping into sunlight on a chilly day. She exudes warmth and assurance with a smile that seems to reassure me that everything will be all right and that I'm safe. Her eyes are captivating not because of their color or shape, but rather because of the stories they hold about love loss, triumph, and metamorphosis. When she speaks, her kind yet firm voice bears the weight of someone who has lived life to the fullest and who has reconciled her joys and scars. The years have not been easy, but each challenge and heartbreak has added a layer of richness to her soul. While others may see wrinkles and grey hair, those who truly know her see resilience. Donna Clara's life has been anything but ordinary. She has loved fiercely and lost deeply. She has raised children, wiped away their tears, celebrated their victories, and mourned the losses of those closest to her. Her home, a comfortable haven full of books, pictures, and the aroma of fresh herbs, is a place where people come not only to visit, but also to feel understood. Her magnetic spirit draws in neighbors, friends, and even strangers who come for comfort, guidance, or just to sit in her company and listen to her stories. And what stories they are. Stories about a world that was of lessons learned the hard way, and of truths that resonate across generations. But what few people know about Donna Clara, what even her closest confidants might not suspect, is the secret she carries with quiet dignity. She has not lost her connection to her body or her desires. Despite the passing years, she remains deeply in tune with the essence of who she is a woman who feels, loves, and yes, desires. She has discovered what many fear to admit, that pleasure does not vanish with age. It evolves, becoming less about fleeting moments and more about a profound connection to oneself and others. One person who has always been captivated by Donna Clara's spirit is Andre, a young man of 25 who has known her for most of his life to Andresi. She is more than a neighbor or an elder. She is a beacon of wisdom and strength. He grew up sitting at her feet, listening to her tales and laughing at her wit. Over the years, she became a source of guidance, someone he turned to when life felt too big, too overwhelming. If you're still watching this video and find these teachings helpful, please leave a comment below to let me know. Now, as a young man dealing with his own concerns, Andre finds himself in a difficult situation. On one sunny afternoon over their usual tea, Andre finds the courage to ask Donna Clara a question that has been bothering him for weeks. It feels too personal and taboo, but he knows that she is the only person who can honestly answer it. The perfume of chamomile and the soothing clink of china glasses permeate the room. Donna Clara sits across from him, her hands cradling her cup, her eyes watching him with quiet curios. Andre shifts in his seat, his hands fidgeting nervously. Finally, he takes a deep breath and speaks. "Donna Clara." He begins, his voice trembling slightly. "Can I ask you something? It's kind of personal." She sets her cup down gently, her expression softening into one of encouragement. "Of course, Andres," she replies. "Ask me anything." Andres hesitates for a moment, his words caught in his throat. Then, with a rush of courage, he asks the question that has been haunting him. It is a question about intimacy, about connection, about the human experience that transcends age, but is rarely discussed openly. Donna Clara listens intently, her face thoughtful but unflinching. When he finishes, she leans back slightly, her gaze steady. What she shares next is not just an answer, it is a revelation. She speaks of her own journey, of the way she has come to understand her body and her desires. Over the years, she speaks of the power of intimacy, not just with others, but with oneself. She tells Andre that aging is not a closing chapter, but an opportunity to write a new one where pleasure is redefined and cherished in ways that youth could never imagine. As she speaks, Andre feels a profound shift within himself. He sees her not only as a wise elder, but as a living testament to the richness of life. Her words are a balm to Andre's soul and a reminder that life's most beautiful experiences are not limited to anyone's stage, but are available to those who are willing to embrace them with an open heart. She also serves as a reminder that age is not a barrier to joy, but rather a gateway to deeper truths. And in that moment, over tea and shared confidences, Donna Clara Andreches started off hesitantly, his voice faltering. "There's something I can't stop thinking about. I don't know if it's strange to ask, but is it normal to still have sexual desires in old age? It's not something people talk about. I've always heard that as we age, those feelings disappear." Two souls connect across generations, united by the timeless human need to understand, to feel, and to be whole. Donna Clara gave him a calm, steady look, while the corners of her lips curled into a knowing smile. She paused before answering, letting his words sink in before answering. "How many young people carry that very question in their hearts?" she said softly, adding, "How many older people wonder in silence, afraid to ask?" The way society believes that once we reach a particular age, we stop feeling and wanting is curious, isn't it? Her words lingered in the air, and Andre felt a mixture of relief and curiosity at her candor. "Start being human, but let me tell you a truth, my love. Life in all its lovely, messy and powerful forms continues to flow through us, even as the body changes." He leaned forward, ready to hear more. "Let me tell you a story," Donna Clara said in a tone that was serene but full of quiet strength. Her voice was like a loving embrace. "Maybe this will help you understand." Her eyes grew averted as she entered the vault of her memories, setting her teacup on the table and folding her hands in her lap. "I remember when I turned 60, she began, her voice soft and reflective. Something in me began to change, but not in the way you might expect. At first it was subtle, a whisper from my body, as if it were trying to tell me that not everything was over. You see, I had always believed, as many do, that sexuality in old age was a closed chapter, a door that quietly shuts without you even realizing it. I thought that desire would simply fade away, leaving behind nothing but a memory. But that wasn't the case. She paused, her fingers lightly tracing the rim of her teacup. At 60, I began to notice things about myself that surprised me. My body, though older, still had something to say, something that needed to be heard. It wasn't the fiery passion of my youth. No, it was something different, gentler, steadier, but no less real. It was like a quiet flame burning softly but persistently. I began to feel my skin respond to the world around me, to the brush of fabric, the warmth of sunlight. My emotions still flowed, and to my astonishment, I started to explore a part of myself I had never truly known. It was as if I were rediscovering my own body, but this time with a calmness and wisdom I didn't have before. Andre sat captivated, his attention riveted on her every word. He could feel the weight of her story. She gave him a warm grin and went on, demonstrating the bravery and vulnerability in her voice to communicate something so intimate. One day, a close buddy of mine who I had complete faith in gave me some advice. She said, "Clara, we never stop being women. We never stop desiring." I will never forget that. She was entirely correct when she said that desire is something that changes as we do, not something that is taken away by the passing of time. Her face relaxed, and she leaned back a little, as though she was letting the memories wash over her. This knowledge felt like a light. Emerging from the shadows, I realized that despite my facial wrinkles and physical changes, I was still a sensual, vibrant and alive woman. However, for a long time I felt ashamed of these emotions, asking myself, what's wrong with me? And why am I still feeling this way when I should be past such things? Her voice became more subdued and tinged with emotion, but one day I decided that I couldn't continue to deny what I felt, and I started to listen to my body to rediscover it and explore this new chapter of my life. In those private, intimate moments with myself, I learned something extraordinary. Pleasure wasn't just about the body, it was also about the mind, the spirit, and the connection I had with myself. I also discovered that pleasure wasn't just about the body, it was about the mind, the spirit, and the connection I had with myself. In embracing that Andrisi, he remained silent, the weight of her story weighing down on him like a heavy but comforting blanket. He thought about her bravery, her honesty, and the way she had reframed something he had always assumed was taboo. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet but full of curiosity. Wasn't Donna Clara afraid of what people might think of you, or even how you might see yourself? It's difficult to discuss these topics, especially at your age. Donna Clara laughed softly, her eyes sparkling with a mixture of understanding and amusement. "Oh, Andrés," she said, "fear is always with us. Isn't it when we're young we fear failure?" Yes, I was afraid of being judged, afraid of being misunderstood, and perhaps most of all, afraid of facing my own reflection and wondering if I was still allowed to feel this way. But do you know what I realized? She leaned forward, her voice lowering as if to share a secret. I realized that the greatest tragedy of all is living a life dictated by fear. Those who truly love you and accept you, Those who see your soul, and not just the surface, will never judge you for embracing your humanity, and those who may well, they were never meant to be a part of your journey. Her comments struck Drake like a revelation, and he experienced a change within of him, as though her insight had opened a door he was unaware existed. You're right. The two sat in silence for a while, as the room filled with the aroma of chamomile and the weight of shared understanding. It wasn't an empty silence, though. It was the kind that comes after a profound connection where words are no longer needed. He whispered to himself that fear holds us back from so much. Donna Clara smiled her expression, which was both kind and firm. It does, Andre, but only if we allow it to remind us that aging is not the end of a chapter, but rather the start of a new one. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please leave a comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Andre looked at Donna Clara with newfound admiration, seeing not just an elder, but a woman who had lived and continued to live with courage, grace, and unapologetic authenticity. Thank you. Finally, in a steady yet emotional voice, he remarked, Donna Clara, you've given me so much to think about. I feel lighter somehow. She leaned across the table and softly placed her palm on his. I always hope that you think, feel, and never stop wondering what it means to be alive. Life is too valuable to live it half-heartedly, and as the afternoon sun streamed in through the window, bathing them in golden light, Andresi felt a deep sense of gratitude for the conversation they had had, a conversation that would stay with him for years to come. Donna Clara laid her hands on the table, the surface of which was covered in time maps, but her touch emanated a gentle strength. Her laughter was a melody of warmth and knowledge, and her eyes were wrinkled with decades of heartbreak and grins that glimmered with kindness. For a long time I wondered if what I was going through was normal society's strange way of telling us how to age. We're taught that as we get older, our bodies lose their value, and that our desires should be hidden away and never mentioned again, as if they no longer matter. Ah, Andres, she started, her voice gently but steadily. We are taught that intimacy and affection are only for the young, and that after a while our purpose changes to only caring for others or to subtly fading into the background. But that's the big lie. She paused, her gaze softening as if the weight of her memories was both a burden and a treasure. Andresi. The truth, which took me years to accept, is that the body doesn't stop being a body just because it gets older. It still craves touch, connection, or love, and it still needs care and affection. These things are just as much a part of who we are at 80 as they are at 20. Andre leaned forward, slightly enthralled by the candor and vulnerability in her words. Her voice had a way of drawing him in until her story was all that mattered. So what did you do? He asked softly, his voice full of curiosity. How did you come to terms with those feelings when everyone else seems to pretend they don't exist? As we age, society has a way of telling us that we are no longer whole and that we become fragments of who we once were. But the moment I began to question that, the moment I allowed myself to listen to my own heart and body, I realized that nothing had been taken from me, if anything, and that I had gained something far more precious, a deeper understanding of myself. Donna Clara smiled the kind of smile that could calm even the most restless soul. She acknowledged that it was a process, Andres, and it wasn't easy for years. I guess I've always thought that as people age, they stop feeling everything, that passion and desire just fade away like they're things of the past. But what you're saying is the exact opposite. Andre sat back in his chair, the weight of her words settling into his chest. Donna Clara laughed once more, a sound that conveyed both laughter and sympathy, which is what most people believe, Andre. We've been socialized to view aging as a gradual decline, a string of youth beauty losses. Vitality is valuable, but nobody ever tells us that growing older is about more than just losing. It's also about gaining perspective, gaining independence, and yes, even forming a new relationship with desire. When I was younger, desire often felt like a storm, powerful, chaotic, overwhelming at times. But as I grew older, it changed and became like a steady flame burning quietly but brightly. I learned to savor it, to appreciate the calmness and clarity it brought. I discovered that intimacy could be more than just physical. It could be emotional and spiritual, a way of truly seeing and being seen. And in that awareness, I found a kind of joy that I had never experienced in my youth. Andre's brow furrowed as he thought about what she had said. So you're saying that desire doesn't disappear, but rather changes and becomes something deeper and more intentional? Donna Clara grinned and nodded. The beauty and desired love connection are found in being soft and empathetic. They are a part of what makes us human and what sustains us. How we experience and accept them is what changes. They don't belong to anyone's stage of life. The blessing of aging is that it teaches us to listen, feel, and love in deeper and more meaningful ways. If we allow ourselves to let go of shame and fear, we can continue to uncover aspects of ourselves that we never thought possible. Andre asked softly, "Are you afraid of what people might think, or even how you might see yourself?" His eyes showed a newfound respect and appreciation, but it's difficult to discuss these topics, especially at your age, Donna. Clara's gaze met his steady and unwavering. "Oh, Andrece," she said softly, "of course I was afraid. Fear is a shadow that follows us throughout life when we're young. It's the fear of failure, rejection, the unknown. As we grow older, it becomes the fear of being judged, of being seen as less than. But one day I realized something powerful. The greatest tragedy isn't growing old. It's living a life dictated by fear." She leaned forward slightly, her voice low but firm. "The people who love you for who you truly, I will never judge you for embracing your humanity, and those who might judge, they don't matter. What matters is how you see yourself, how you choose to live your life." I decided that I didn't want to spend my later years apologizing for my feelings or hiding my desires. I wanted to live fully, to embrace every part of myself. Wrinkles and all her words hung in the air, and Andre felt them settle deep in his chest, stirring something he hadn't realized was there. "You make it sound so freeing," he said almost to himself. "To live without shame, to embrace everything that makes you who you are. It is freeing." Donna Clara smiled in response. "But it takes courage to face yourself, listen to your heart, and let go of the need for approval. Aging isn't the end of anything. Rather, it's the start of a new chapter where you can find your true self, away from the expectations and noise of the outside world." For a brief moment, they sat in silence. Her words filled the room with weight, and the sunlight coming in through the window gave them a golden glow that highlighted her facial wrinkles and his pondering expression. At last, Andre replied, his voice steady but full of emotion. "Thank you, Donna Clara." As the afternoon sun started to set, she reached out and placed her hand gently over his, her touch warm and comforting. "That's all I could hope for, on Grace, that you think that you feel, and that you never stop wondering what it means to truly live life. Life is a gift, my dear, and it's far too precious to let fear or shame hold you back. I don't think I'll ever see aging the same way again. You've given me so much to think about." Andre felt a quiet transformation taking place within him. He had come seeking answers, and he had found something far greater. A deeper understanding of what it meant to live with courage, authenticity, and an open heart. And in that moment he knew he would carry Donna Clara's wisdom with him, not just as a memory but as a guide for the rest of his life. As we bring this heartfelt journey to a close, let me ask you what stood out to you the most. Today, did you find yourself reflecting on the truth shared by Donna Clara, The courage to embrace your desires, the wisdom in redefining intimacy, or the strength to live authentically free from the weight of fear and shame. Life, as Donna Clar reminds us, is a continuous rediscovery, and aging is not the end. It is a transformation, an opportunity to deepen our understanding of ourselves and our connections with others. So what is one thing you've learned from her story that you will carry forward into your own life? We would love to hear your thoughts. Share your reflections in the comments below. Your insights could inspire others to rethink their own journeys and break free from the stigmas that hold them back. We appreciate you watching, and we hope to see you in the next video. If this video spoke to you, please take a moment to like, and subscribe to our channel so that we may continue to explore the tales and wisdom that make life rich at every stage.